everybody, welcome to the Rocket Vlog. I'm joined by Tom again, who you may remember from such videos as the RoboCop Theory Part 1 and the RoboCop Theory Part 2. Say hi.
Hey.
There you go. Today we're going to talk about WrestleMania. As any wrestling fan might know, WrestleMania 30 is coming up soon, in about 2 weeks or so from when this video was made. So what Tom and I thought would be a bit of fun is just to yuck around and talk about the upcoming WrestleMania 30, and also just, if we have time, talk about random subjects to do with WrestleMania. So we're going to see how this goes. So what we should do to start with, I guess, is look.
Just go down the cards?
Yeah, for WrestleMania 30. We'll start at the bottom, as it is listed on Wikipedia on the tablet here, and we'll work our way up.
This is, what date are we now? It's the 24th?
25th today.
25th of March, so a couple of weeks out.
Yeah, not too long at all. So I might as well ask you before we start, are you excited? Yes or no?
Am I excited for WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one's got pretty good builds.
Yeah.
Especially the main event.
Right.
I'm blanking on what else is on the show at the moment.
Well, that's what this is
but
for.
Let's do it, yeah, let's go through it, yeah.
So we'll talk about it, and we can just ping pong off each other what we think and stuff like that. So far at the moment, what they've got listed on Wikipedia, the first match is Jimmy and Jey Uso, the Uso brothers, versus Ryback and Curtis Axel for the Tag Team Championship, the Unified Tag Team Championship. So what do you reckon to that?
Well, I heard that there's going to be a 2-hour pre-show for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I assume this is probably going to be on there.
Possibly.
If it's not, to be honest, I don't really understand why Goldust and Cody Rhodes aren't on it.
Nobody does.
No, but they've had some of the better matches this year.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the highlights of these 3-hour Raws have been the matches they've had with the Shield, and there's been a really good rotation of matches. Yeah,
I'll agree with you there, yeah.
And it just seems a shame that they're in there and they're not in there and Ryback still is.
Yeah, it is.
You need heels, don't you?
True, yeah, but people were arguing why they couldn't have a three-way tag team match as well.
I think it now is a three-way. I think on Raw they said it's a three-way now, and it's the real Americans in there. Okay,
but even then people are still going to be mystified as to why they're in there, and that's...
Well, especially when they were teasing a breakup between Cesaro and Jack Swagger.
Yeah, I did see that.
So we all thought they were going to have a singles match, but it doesn't look like that's the case now.
No, it's typical McMahon sort of booking, I guess, where he gets a hard-on for an idea for a little while, and then he kind of changes his mind after waking up.
Well, they're trying to squeeze so many guys onto that card. I mean,
It's like actually an old-fashioned WrestleMania where they try and throw as many people onto the show as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's, in some ways, for the talent, it's great there's a battle royal, so at least the lower guys like Zack Ryder might actually get a WrestleMania payday,
Maybe.
But I think the Usos are going to win that match. I think it's a pretty safe bet.
I hope so. Even though I do like Curtis Axel because he's Mr. Perfect's baby.
That can't be the only reason.
Oh, I like him, and I like Ryback, because he uses his logo of the R is almost like the Rocket Hideout one. But pretty cool.
But do you like this tandem of Ryback and Curtis Axel?
Nah, not really, because they're like again, it's typical WWE sort of. I haven't got anything to do with these guys, so mash them together just to give them something to do.
It's a shame, because I really thought about 4 or 5 months ago there was almost like a resurgence of tag teams in the WWE,
Yeah, everybody's saying that. Yeah, and I agree with you, because that was supposed to be one of Triple H's big things on his manifest of personal things he wanted to do.
And it works.
Yeah, but it's sort of falling by the wayside.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
But
the Usos have got some great momentum at the moment, so I can't see them losing.
They've been doing pretty well. I mean, I don't watch Monday Night Raw every week, but every so often I'll record it to see what's going on. If something looks like it's going to be interesting. And I was able to watch the Elimination Chamber in the 2 weeks after that, and they had a pretty sort of hot streak then.
Yeah.
They had a good match with the New Age Outlaws at the Elimination Chamber, and then they had a strong win against them to win the belts. Was it the next night or the 2 weeks later.
I think it was a couple of weeks later, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, that'll be good. That should be good. So, okay, anything else you want to say about that before we move on?
No, I wish Cody Rhodes and Goldust was in it, make it a 4-way.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, Usos.
It's interesting. It's like they're sticking it to Goldust and Cody Rhodes and sticking it to the fans all at the same time, because Goldust and Cody Rhodes wanted a match against each other at WrestleMania, and that hasn't happened, and everybody, all the fans want those two in this tag team title match, and they're not getting that either. So it's almost
and they really had some momentum as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were such a strong team.
They were good,
and they lost out of nowhere to the Outlaws, which still mystifies me.
Well, I mean, speaking of them, next match that's listed on Wikipedia is The Shield, who everybody out there probably knows, so I don't need to say them off one by one, against what is called the Authority here. New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg, and Badass Billy Gunn and Kane against The Shield. Yeah,
Corporation 2014, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. That's what this stinks of. How weird does Kane look, by the way, in his slacks?
Almost as weird as he looked when he was a dentist.
Yeah, I know, right? That was.
And
he's growing his hair back as well.
I hate this match.
Really?
Absolutely, I hate it. A lot for ages they've been teasing the breakup with the Shield.
Yeah.
And we all thought we were going to get a triple threat at Mania. And although I didn't want them to break up, I was really excited for that match because they'd all get their spots in, and it would be a great match.
Yeah. I mean, the word on the grapevine is that it's just this match is happening like this, from what I've heard, because the New Age Outlaws want to wrestle them before they break up.
Yeah.
And then after that, Ambrose and Rollins are going to go off as a tag team, and then Reigns is going to be the babyface that gets shit on by those two.
That's the rumour, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the fact they're still a team, because I still think there's stuff you can do with them. Right. They're so over,
Well, if you think about it, I guess there is more you can do with them, because now they're actually good guys, fan favourites. Yeah, whereas they weren't before. They were supposed to be like the bad guys, but they were getting cheered by everybody.
Yeah.
And now they're actually good guy characters, so yeah, you could do more with them, in fairness. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And all their matches are great, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, you don't think so?
Well, I'm not a fan of them.
Why aren't you a fan of them? Why aren't you a fan of them? Should we discuss this?
I don't particularly find it's like I told you a few weeks ago. It's like when everybody made a big deal of their match. What was it? It was at the Elimination Chamber with the Wyatts.
That was brilliant. It was so good.
Yeah, but it's like everybody was saying like how great it was, and it was good. But in fairness, I wasn't going absolutely bonkers over it, because it wasn't necessarily stuff I hadn't seen before.
But is that because you also haven't been watching the TV, so you're not invested in the story like everybody else was?
No,
those guys have been kept separate this whole time.
No, because I was looking at it. I mean, I was looking at it from the perspective of just sitting back and watching the match, like, and all the moves, because everybody sort of made a big deal out of that they were staring at each other for like 5 minutes and they didn't do anything, and the crowd was going apeshit. That was good. But then it's like after that, I was just watching the match as it was, and like I said, there wasn't anything I hadn't seen before. I think that's the only thing. I give everybody their due and say they're good, because they got to be good to do this for a living. But at the same time, maybe it's a curse of watching it for so long. But it's like I didn't see anything that completely blew me away.
See, I thought it was fresh because there hasn't been that much hype behind a match in some time.
Okay.
Normally with feuds, they come and go so quickly, don't they? Especially in TNA.
Yeah. Well, how long did that?
Well, since the Wyatts arrived, everybody was going Shield Wyatts, which I thought was ridiculous because they're both heel factions. Yeah. Why would they feud? But somehow, when they started to tease tension between the two, it
when
worked.
Was that?
Oh, I cannot remember. It was at least a couple of months before the main event.
Okay, yeah.
But no, it was a great match.
Yeah,
I just think on a pay-per-view like WrestleMania they could do so much more. I mean, God, I'd settle for having them versus Cody Rhodes and Goldust, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, you couldn't make that happen now, could you? Have you ever liked the New Age Outlaws? Out of curiosity, or was that before your time of watching?
I have nostalgia for the New Age Outlaws, but now I see them. They're old guys now, really, aren't they?
Yeah,
and on such a crowded card.
Yeah.
With so many great wrestlers, you don't need the New Age Outlaws. Not one person is going to buy the pay-per-view to see the New Age Outlaws wrestle.
I might.
No, but you're already buying it, though, aren't you?
That's not for sure yet.
No?
No, that's not for sure yet. No, I'm not sure yet whether I'll buy it or not. That's what makes this so interesting, because you may convince me to buy it.
Okay.
As well, so that's another experiment.
I'm not going to do it with this match anyway.
Well,
I'm pleased the Shield are staying together for this a little bit, because there is still something there. I just wish they were fighting more interesting opponents than Kane.
Kane's one of those. I don't know about you, but I always found Kane one of those characters who was like, he was always there, but he was never particularly interesting. That's just aside from when he first appeared.
I find Kane interesting in small doses, but I find his matches so boring.
Right. Yeah.
To be honest, I generally find that style boring anyway.
Yeah. Lumbering big man.
Yeah.
Although in fairness, a lumbering big man who can fly off the top rope as well.
Fly?
Well, not fly, but sort of drop while holding his arm out. But that's that takes good balance.
Yeah.
To do. Which for a guy that size isn't easy. If you're looking at it.
Was it Rosie or Jamal that always could do the moonsault off the top?
Oh fuck! Surely it would have been
one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And of course, Bam Bam Bigelow always moonsaulted.
Yeah, as well. One of the original sort of really.
And then you had those shitty Vader salts.
Yeah, where he just sort of looked like he'd just sort of go like that and see if gravity would actually take him all the way over.
And it didn't.
Not all the time, but Vader was alright as well. But so, actually, speaking of nostalgia, we may as well go into this now. Which was the first WrestleMania you watched?
17.
17. Was that live?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask. For me, it was a bit of a different story, because for me, I actually started watching it around the time before
I was born.
Before you were born, yeah, and before I think they started showing the pay-per-views on TV, so it was predating even having WrestleMania on Sky Movies.
Right.
Because back in the day before Sky Sports, they always put WrestleMania on Sky Movies, right, and Royal Rumble and shit. Even before then, it would only be on, I think, really, really early shit, like 1988, 1989. They'd put it have an hour on Sky One or whatever. My first WrestleMania that I saw was WrestleMania 4 on VHS, because my old man rented it.
Yeah.
And I sat and watched it through that, and that was probably about 1989, 1990.
What a pay-per-view to start with, though, eh?
Well, I certainly enjoyed it.
The big one, you know?
I certainly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the tournament and the Battle Royal. I really liked how, as a kid, right, I really liked how Randy Savage changed his gear for every match. He always came out with a new outfit.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. I don't think that one's as bad as people make out, which if we have more time towards the end of discussing this year's WrestleMania, we'll talk about shit like that.
Sure.
As we agreed before we recorded this. But, so bottom line, you're happy the Shield are staying together, but you just wish they... Who would you have them wrestle? Would you have them wrestle the Wyatts again? Or would you have saved that for WrestleMania? Now that would have been good, in fairness.
Oh, it would have been great.
If they'd have kept it, if they'd have just had them fighting, but left the actual match until WrestleMania, that would have been good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to play armchair booker.
No.
But if this was my show, I would have, from the beginning, I would have done Shield Wyatts, and I would have done Bryan Cena.
Right. Okay.
You know.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I've got to be honest, if I was to watch it, I'd be excited just to see the New Age Outlaws. I've got to be honest, just because
it's just an entrance, though, isn't it?
I don't know. I always enjoyed watching them wrestle, or at least watch Billy Gunn get ping-ponged around the ring.
And you know what? They haven't been terrible.
No, I mean,
been on. I think the problem I have is that there could have been a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I agree
possibilities.
With you. I mean, it's just, I think where we've always differed is you want to watch it primarily based out of what's going to be a good match, whereas I will watch it primarily based on who's going to be wrestling and if I like them. And if I don't like them, then my interest isn't there.
But just because they're not necessarily a good wrestler doesn't mean you'll like them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So they could be the drizzling shits, but if there's something I like about them,
if they're rapping, you know.
If they're rapping or they're fucking walking a bulldog to the ring or got a parrot on their arm and doing this, absolutely. Yeah. But
I would settle for a Lance Storm main event. So
yeah. So that's where we differ, to be honest. But okay, next match then, which I just read about this morning. 14 Diva Vicky Guerrero Invitational for the Divas Championship. Now, somebody tell me how the fuck this is how this is going to work. Is it a battle royal? Is it a first pinfall? What the fuck is this?
Once again, it's more squeezing everybody onto a card. Have they actually announced this? Because I could have sworn I read SmackDown though. I could have sworn I read somewhere that it was like properly announced on TV. But that is a complete clusterfuck. Maybe AJ starts and
so a gauntlet.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the only way. It would be a very quick gauntlet.
It can't be another battle royal.
No.
It's kind of a show with 2 battle royals.
No, not really. I imagine, yeah. I mean, it's either going to be a complete clusterfuck where they're all in the ring, but that would be a mess.
Yeah.
Or it will be a gauntlet, and it will be a very quick gauntlet where somebody is running through. See, what I could imagine having is like Tamina Snuka's in there. She starts and probably blitzes through. You know,
one would assume the champion would start, wouldn't they? If that's the case. That's
there's one. Is it? Because
I
mean, they could do it.
Cruiserweight one, wasn't there? Was it?
It was Chavo, or
yeah.
It was Gregory Helms. Or was it like Helms had the belt for so long and then Chavo won it at the end or so? Or
yeah,
was it Cash or
but it had like Ultimo Dragon in it. That's the one where he trips over, wasn't it?
Oh, at WrestleMania, yeah. I guess. I mean, the only other way I thought was you'd have AJ come out last, and then have all the other sort of fight to try and get to her, which is the only other way I could see it happening. And like I said, if that happened, I
can't imagine AJ being. She's not a particularly strong champion, though, is she? She's more the cowardly.
That's what I'm saying. So why would you have her start?
Unless Tamina's protecting her. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So for me, if it was a gauntlet, I would have thought, because you want to get this through quick, you have Tamina in there and she takes out people like Emma, Oksana, Alicia Fox, Summer Rae, Rosa Mendes, blah blah blah, and then it gets towards the end and maybe
Is Rosa Mendes even still on the roster?
I guess so.
Okay, so with all those divas in mind, we don't know how the match is going to work.
No.
Who do you think is going to win?
Who do I think is going to win? I mean, looking at it the way they're going, AJ Lee hasn't held the belt for a year yet, has she?
It's been a while.
But it hasn't been a year, so I imagine that they would probably just leave it on her. But it's like, if you ask me who I thought would be good to win, I would have thought maybe Tamina or Natalya. Because if one of those two don't win, it's going to be pretty freaking stupid. Because they're much bigger than all the others. But it's like, what do you think?
I don't think it really matters.
Well, no, it don't.
Yeah, come on.
But yeah, it's going to be.
This will probably be on the pre-show.
Maybe, but it's like, if that was on the pre-show and the tag team title match was on the pre-show, it leaves you like six matches, because there's only like 7
they do need something to break up those main events, don't they?
Yeah, which would probably be that, which they usually do at WrestleMania, don't they? Okay, so next match, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. What do you think? I
thought Bray Wyatt had an amazing match with Bryan at Royal Rumble.
I heard about that.
Fantastic finish. One of the so innovative, I thought. Did you see it? He did the
no.
Sister Abigail on the guardrail.
Right.
And then just rolled Bryan in the ring and pinned him, and I thought that was so good because Bryan went for a suicide dive.
Yeah.
And Bray just caught him.
So simple, yeah. It amazes people because it's never done. It always has to be some elaborate fucking video game.
It's not even that. It's more just we're so used to the same old stuff. When something fresh happens, it kind of stays in your mind.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, I thought that was a great match.
Right.
I'm so confident that these two will have a great match together. I think the build's been really interesting as well. Because John Cena's been taking it very seriously most of the time when he cuts his promos and stuff. I think the Wyatt seemed like a very credible threat. So I'm going to have to go with... I think Cena's going to win.
Yeah,
but in such
absolutely.
a fashion that Bray is going to be maybe one of the top heels of the company.
Well, that's what again the grapevine's been saying, that he Cesaro and somebody else, probably Daniel Bryan, they're going to be like pushed sort of front and centre. And
I think that's great, but I don't know if Cesaro outside of his ring work is quite there yet. But clearly Bray's a fantastic wrestler and great talker, really good gimmick.
I'm surprised that John Cena's wrestling him this year.
Do you not think it's really interesting that Cena's in the mid-cut?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm shocked because it almost seems like John Cena's like wrestling under I guess fighting under his weight or whatever that saying is, because you're always used to him being towards the top and now he's planted firmly in the middle.
But I think this is the year out of all the other years where WWE have clearly been trying to create new stars.
Yeah.
And I think this is maybe John Cena getting behind that.
Right, yeah.
I mean, even Triple H to some degree as well, you know?
Yeah. Well, as much as Triple H will.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, good match? And who do you think's going to win?
I'd be interested to see it, John Cena, but I think it's in such a way where the commentators give Bray Wyatt a verbal blowjob at the end of it and talk about how hard he pushed John Cena and all this. So he comes out of it.
It's going to be very close. If Bray does win, I think it will be one of those occasions where he then loses to Cena at Extreme Rules or the next pay-per-view, so they've kind of got one apiece.
Yeah, and then they blow it off at maybe SummerSlam.
Because I still think that Bryan Cena is the end game, you know?
Right.
A rematch between those two.
Have to say, maybe it'd be at SummerSlam. But speaking of which, next match listed here is Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. Singles match to see who goes into the WWE World Heavyweight Championship triple threat match. This is obviously McMahon breaking the emergency glass and hitting the emergency button, sure. Because before this, it seemed like they were dead set on having Randy Orton versus Batista.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And also Punk leaving probably threw a spanner in the works as well. I heard he was going to work with Hunter.
I heard Triple H was extremely upset that CM Punk would rather go home than wrestle.
Wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know, man, because I mean, you don't...
It's not just the match, they're also offering Punk $1 million to do it, and he's turned it down.
It says something about him, I guess.
But I think in some ways it's made the Bryan feud with Orton and Batista far more interesting anyway. Because I think as characters, Orton is very stale, and Batista isn't very good on the mic at all. And I think having Triple H in that mix has made it so much more interesting because he's such a good bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think he's played that Vince McMahon role really well.
Yeah.
But I think it's very safe to say that Daniel Bryan's going to win that. Otherwise, you're going to have a main event with 3 villains in it.
Yeah, you see, this one could go either way. It's like, is he gonna actually drop his ego for a little while to do what probably... I mean, they use the word it's best for business all the time, and even though I've been thinking about this a lot, even though I'm not a big Daniel Bryan fan at all, WrestleMania is usually the event where you give the person that everybody's clamouring for the belt, regardless.
We'll get to that match in a bit. Yeah. But I think it's very safe to say at this point that it will be the triple threat with Daniel Bryan in it.
Yeah, well, it has to be, otherwise everybody's...
Although I'm sure Triple H would love an Evolution main event.
He probably would, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But we've got to do what's best for business.
I would... the sort of sick bastard in me would love to see them put Triple H in that match just to see how many people leave the stadium, how many people revolt.
As someone that's buying the show, I don't want to see that at all.
I do, just out of, like I said, a sick interest, just to see. To see it, not because I want to see Triple H in the main event, but just to see whether people would revolt.
And also, I think when we all initially thought it was just going to be Orton Batista, everybody shat on that, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that would be just such an ugly scene, that main event,
absolutely,
with that crowd.
I think people would pelt the ring with garbage.
Absolutely,
shit like that. I think they would be crucified.
I'm not a big fan of Triple H's ring work, but obviously Daniel Bryan is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm sure it'll be a passable match.
Yeah, I'd be interested to be interested in like the sort of aftermath, whether you hear Triple H talking about how like he like led the match and Daniel Bryan got his shit in, and Triple H was so sort of how charitable I was to.
I think seeing the stuff he's done on NXT makes me think that Triple H is genuinely trying to create stars for the future. And also it's to make this show the best it can possibly be. And by inserting himself into the main event, he knows that's not going to be the case.
No, well, I certainly hope he knows that, because if he doesn't, then Jesus Christ.
So the 30-man Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is just a Royal Rumble, isn't it?
It's a Battle Royal, so I mean, I'm assuming all 30 men are going to be in the ring at the start.
You reckon? Is it not?
I would have thought so, because it's a Battle Royal, it's not a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they all seem to work differently though, don't they?
Yeah, I've got to be honest, if I buy the event, this would be the one I really look forward to.
Oh gosh, really?
Yeah, because it reminds me of the good old days, like WrestleMania 4, where they had the big trophy, and if they're going to have a big trophy to actually, they're going to fight for something.
Well, it's like the old King of the Ring one, and when I think of big trophies, I always think of the
one-edge one.
The one-edge one.
That looked like the Stanley Cup or whatever.
Yes, exactly. The one that really kicked off the feud.
Yeah, I really want to see it if they put it on the main show, just because they have these bullshit battle royals every year and they're never special. It's just like get everybody on the pre-show so everybody's happy. But this one, they had Hogan come and announce it. They've had all the wrestlers who are going to participate in it say, I'm going to win this, I want to win this, because I get a big gold like trophy shaped of Andre the Giant or whatever, and they actually have a trophy to fight for. So I think that's absolutely terrific. And that would be the thing I would order it for. However, if it wasn't on the show, I would be quite upset. That's why I'm not sure about.
I think it's definitely going to be on the show. I think because they normally have a battle royal every year, don't they? But it's normally on the pre-show. Yeah. But because they've made such a big deal about it and shown this trophy over and over again, I'm pretty confident it's going to be on the show. And once again, they need something to break up. Those last four matches, the main event, Taker, Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, Triple H, John Cena, Bray Wyatt, are such intense matches.
Yeah.
You need something in the middle to break it up.
Absolutely.
And why not a Kofi Kingston spot,
Yeah, leaping onto the big black foam barricade and then suddenly leaping back or whatever. I don't know, maybe he'll like bounce around on his ass and get back in the ring that way. I don't know. Keeping his feet up in the air.
Who do you think's going to win?
Fuck me. Who are the participants I stand here?
It could really be anybody, can't it?
We have Big E, Langston, Fandango, Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, Damien Sandow, Titus O'Neil, Christian, Sheamus, Big Show, Mark Henry, The Miz, Kofi Kingston, Cody Rhodes, Goldust, Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, Drew McIntyre, Brodus Clay, Darren Young, Justin Gabriel, Rey Mysterio, R-Truth, Santino Marella, The Great Khali, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara. Great Khali wins because they won't be able to throw him out because he'll kill himself.
I think it's pretty safe to say that this is a list off Wikipedia. That's not set in stone at all.
No, but you've
got to imagine
go.
Justin Gabriel being in there.
I don't know, man, because I couldn't imagine.
Or if you just need bodies.
Yeah, that's what it is at the end of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if Big E, Langston would it, or Sheamus.
No, but he is the IC champion. I don't want it to be, but I think being the Andre the Giant Battle Royal makes me think it's going to be a big star that wins.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be the Big Show because they've really been teasing it on Raw.
Right. It's just the way you said, because it's a giant.
But I have a feeling it's going to be that new guy from NXT, Rusev.
Oh, is he in there? Because he's not listed.
He's not listed on Wikipedia, but I'm confident he's going to be in there.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like that. I'd like to see that because I quite like him. But that'll be good. It's one of those things.
Big E would be a good choice.
I think so, because they seem to be pretty serious on him.
I mean, I want Ziggler to win, but how many more times do we need a potential Ziggler title reign for it to then be just?
I wouldn't be surprised if one of the larger guys, Big Show or Great Khali, just sort of put their hand over him, smack him as hard as they can on the top of the head, and he bounces like a fucking basketball over the top rope and gets eliminated like that.
Spot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go with. I'll go with Rusev.
Right.
But I think Sheamus would be a second.
I think Sheamus is a solid bet because he spots Triple H when he bench presses, doesn't he? So I've heard. I mean, I would have thought.
You spend far too much time on the message boards.
Got to do something to pass the time sometimes. But I don't know. It's like it's a list. I mean, I have a better time telling you who wouldn't win than who would. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's easy, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm not sure.
But it's great that all these guys are going to get main event paychecks.
Like I said,
WrestleMania paychecks.
I'm just thrilled to bits that they're treating it like a big deal.
Yeah.
To be frank, because I think that brings a bit of nostalgia. Like I said, it reminds me of like WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 4. You know, when they'd have battle royals and they'd be sort of like semi-serious about it, as opposed to, especially in the 2000s, they got into the habit of let's throw everybody into a battle royal and just sort of do it, and there's a battle royal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas now it's a bit.
No, I totally agree.
We got about 10 minutes left on the SD card. Since we're using a new camera and it eats up the SD card's memory like hell, so we better.
You guys get to see this in high definition.
Yeah. Pimples and all, right?
Yeah, man.
So we better get through this.
This is probably an easy one anyway, isn't it?
Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. Yeah, Undertaker.
Safely Undertaker.
Yeah.
Although it's a shame, I think we're going to see Brock Lesnar lose again. It does seem like it's hard to remember with him because he's used so sparingly, which is good.
Yeah.
But when he is involved in these matches, he always comes out losing, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, it should be good though.
It's going to be a very good match.
I'd be interested to see if
Lesnar kills
Undertaker. I'd be interested to see if Undertaker gets injured, and if he does get injured, what happens to Brock? Because Brock's a fucking beast.
He really is. All his matches look so brutal, don't they?
Yeah, I mean that match he had with John Cena.
I'll never forget the clothesline, the jumping clothesline he did over the top.
It literally was like somebody took a tiger that was straining at a chain and popped the chain up.
And it's so differently to how he used to wrestle as well with his first run.
Yeah, it's it will be interesting.
It'll be a great match.
It might be a UFC match in a wrestling ring. We'll have to see.
Which isn't such a bad idea. I mean, do you remember Kurt Angle's Samoa Joe?
Yeah, and they wrestled barefoot and shit.
Yeah, it was a really good match.
That was good, and it'd be interesting to see because they're both big UFC sort of people, so that'd be interesting to see.
Main events on?
Yeah, I think so. Randy Orton versus Batista versus to be determined. We have 8 minutes to discuss it, so what do you think?
I want nothing more than to see Daniel Bryan win the belt in front of that crowd.
But
I just think it'd be a great reaction.
Yeah.
But I've kind of said from the beginning, if you do that, then who have you got him to feud with? And I think the perfect opponent would be Batista.
Right. Right.
And they could then go off and have this great feud together.
Yeah.
Which would which would last long enough for Cena to finish his feud with Bray.
Yeah.
So then Cena and Bryan can come back together and have their round 2. So I'd go with Batista.
Batista to win.
Batista to win. I just think it would be more interesting, and my God, the reaction from that crowd if Batista wins. He will be the most hated person in the company.
That's interesting then, because he's going to be in that movie, and I figured that was a big reason why they.
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and I think that was a big reason why they brought him back and why let him win the Royal Rumble and all this, because they wanted the champion to be.
The thing is, it's not just a movie though. It's a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
it's going to be big.
Yeah. So they want to put their champion on the red carpet and probably be babyface as well.
Yeah. But,
so now that he's going to
they wanted him to be babyface from the start, but that clearly was never going to happen.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if they give him the belt and everything when he's on the red carpet. Batista, the bad guy, and how they present it on TV and stuff.
I don't think he's going to hold it that long.
Right.
If he gets it, I don't think he'll hold it till the summer. Because I think Guardians is out in August.
So you think he'd drop it, what, a month or 2 months later?
Yeah, I think it's really just to get this reaction.
But then do you want Daniel Bryan's big championship sort of... He's proper win where somebody doesn't come out and screw him to be on a secondary show?
Not at all. But I also think that just to continue the story, there's still legs in a Batista-Daniel Bryan match. And it means, I think it's more important to have Daniel Bryan chasing for the title.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But you're never going to have a better crowd than the one at WrestleMania, are you?
No.
So
to be honest with you, because I'm old school, and like I said, I don't like Daniel Bryan very much, and since we've only got a few minutes, I think it would only be right for him to win, because WrestleMania is always that sort of show where the good guy wins in the end. Like, I have the memories of Bret Hart winning the belt back from Yokozuna, and like Shawn Michaels winning it at 12, and the sort of fight everybody gave WrestleMania 2000 when Triple H was the first bad guy to walk out of WrestleMania as champion. So I think it's only right that the good guy, who everybody is absolutely gagging to win the belt, wins it at WrestleMania. I think that's the right thing to do.
I'd love him to win.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. But what you say holds water. So I mean, personally,
I think if this was SummerSlam, you could safely say Batista would win.
Yeah.
But because it is Mania, you've got that fact that you just said.
Because I also think McMahon likes having the good guy win in the end. To be fair, even if it is Half Pint Troll, who I've noticed they've got Stephanie McMahon wearing some high fucking heels at the moment.
She looks flipping awesome, doesn't she?
Yeah, but I find it funny that they're getting her in higher and higher heels so that she's here and Daniel Bryan's here.
He's very short. He's a very short guy.
Yeah, to really emphasise that, right?
5'8" or something, I think.
But that's why they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
But I think Vince McMahon even likes that sort of good guy wins in the end thing. That's why the bad guy never usually ends WrestleMania as the winner. It's always some kind of good guy. If the bad guy wins like the championship match, then they'll have Undertaker at the main event, so that everybody's like happy that Undertaker won. It's a toss up, because it's like what you says holds water. I think traditionally it should be good guy wins, but I don't see Daniel Bryan winning if you look at it how you said, and I agree.
And I'd be gutted if he did lose, but
well, I think it'd be a shame. I think they've missed the boat on it, to be fair. And like I said, that's me being
I think you're probably right.
Logical about it. If they
can only tease it so much, can't they?
Well, I mean, it's getting to the point now where if he loses again, people are just going to.
Yeah, and they've got such a great reaction behind it.
So he has to win. If McMahon wants to maybe be a multi-billionaire, because his stock recently went up, if he wants to be a multi-billionaire, he gives Daniel Bryan the belt. Personally, everybody who watches wrestling in my family likes Randy Orton, so I want Randy Orton to win. And on that bombshell, as Jeremy Clarkson says, it's Clarkson, right? Yeah. On that bombshell, we've got about 2 or 3 minutes left, so this has been a good discussion. Thank you for coming back on, and we will see you again real soon. Bye bye.